Hey folks, Quill18 here, and finally, Dwarf Fortress Steam Edition. It's a thing that exists now, and we are super duper extremely happy for it. Hopefully this brings a lot of new people to this wonderful game. If you are new to Dwarf Fortress, or at least new to playing it, hey, welcome to the party. I hope you enjoy yourself, because you know, this game is going to be with you for like thousands of hours. It's wonderful. Unfortunately, I didn't get a pre-release key very far ahead of the release of the game. Otherwise, I would have like a bunch of either a Let's Play or like a bunch of tutorial style videos ready for you on release day. Instead, what I'm going to have is this just going to be a little overview video. There is going to be a campaign, a Let's Play of Dwarf Fortress happening on Twitch, twitch.tv/Quill18, on Tuesday, December the 6th, Wednesday, December the 7th. I will be streaming Dwarf Fortress Steam Edition live there. And in addition to that, my intention is to go and work on a bunch of tutorial videos for new players on the channel. But unfortunately, yeah, I wasn't able to get them ready ahead of time. But hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. But here's a little bit of a, yeah, we're going to do a bit of an overview over here of the things, and it is really quite impressive. So the big change here, because all the core gameplay features exactly the same as Dwarf Fortress Classic. All the crazy tales, everything that you could do in the regular version, you can do here, with the exception, I will say, Adventure Mode is not currently implemented, which is fine. Most people play Fortress Mode anyway, and Adventure Mode is going to be coming. But other than that, like, all of Dwarf Fortress is in here. But we've got a new user interface, a new graphic set, tile set for this game. I mean, it's still going to be, you know, somewhat plainish, but that's because you're going to have something where you've got like 200 dwarves running in your fortress, fighting off invasions of 200 goblins all at the same time. And, you know, too much detail in the graphics would actually become rapidly overwhelming. But we do have, you know, we've got this graphic set, but the big thing is the new user interface to make things work, and it is quite wonderful. The digging tool over here, so I can just, for example, just click and drag and say, hey, I would like this area kind of dug out like this. Very easy to do. If you are a veteran of Dwarf Fortress, one of the things you might want to do is if you go into Settings and Game, there is an option here for keyboard cursor enabled. I find this quite handy because of, well, a couple of things. One, I've got muscle memory for certain keyboard inputs. The other thing, those of you who have been around the channel know that I have quite shaky hands. And so if I'm trying to do kind of like little precision rooms that are all the same size, it's actually very tricky for me to kind of line things up and not accidentally kind of overshoot like this. So I really appreciate having this keyboard cursor enabled over here. And that's what that little yellow box is. Normally you don't get this yellow box, but with keyboard cursor enabled, you do get it, and you can use your arrow keys to move things around. Note that unlike classic Classic Dwarf Fortress, my bad. Oh, that's just ramps. No, I want to, there we go, cancel mining. X. What am I doing wrong here? There we go. Oh, I had to, yeah, no, I had to get out of that mode and do that. Can't remember what I'm saying. Oh, yes, unlike classic Dwarf Fortress, while I'm interacting with these menus, the game is still playing. In classic Dwarf Fortress, once you know, opening these menus stops the game, so, you know, which is fine, I suppose, but this is great. This just keeps running at the same time while you're looking at things. Of course, you can pause the game whenever you want. If you're overwhelmed, you can unpause. Oh, there's a new blueprint system in the Steam version here, which is quite nice. If we go and click here and go to blueprint only mode, what I can do is plan out some digging that I don't actually want to have happen right now. And then what we can do later on is convert the blueprints to regular selections or vice versa. Oh, there we go. So that's convert things to blueprints. This is convert from blueprints to actual jobs. There we go. Very, like, I find that incredibly handy. What a cool little feature for us to have. I don't think there was anything like that in vanilla classic Dwarf Fortress. Of course, there, you know, with the attack and quick fort and things, you had, you know, some extra features, but I think that's something that's actually genuinely new over here. Oh, over on left, we do have our alert system. So that alert system is a little bit different. You can see more things at a glance. You right-click to dismiss a whole category, or if you click on a category, you can dismiss things in slightly different ways. But we've got that going on, so yeah, that won't get dug out. I like the nice big display of our date and the moon cycle, which was, you know, indicated in text in previous versions, but yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, and this is mostly aimed at existing Dwarf Fortress players, the other thing with the keyboard cursors, it does make it really easy for you to record macros, which was built into previous Dwarf Fortress, but without the keyboard cursor, your use of macros in the Steam edition is going to be somewhat limited, and that's why I really like having the keyboard cursor enabled. It's between not having shaky hands and also being able to do some macro stuff. It's really, really quite nice. So yeah, that's digging out over there. There's a pretty significant change in how jobs are allocated in the Steam edition of Dwarf Fortress. The individual tasks, you're not actually enabled in individual labors on your dwarves anymore. Instead, what you're doing is you can assign them to work details. Now, by default, this job here, will do available tasks anywhere, is on by default, which is really great. So all your dwarves by default will do every job that comes up, but then you can also have them be specialized in certain tasks. If you want, you know, your more skilled dwarves working on things, or you want a particular dwarf to get really skilled in things, you can assign them to various of these work details. And these work details can be organized, sorry, not here, but rather in the labor menu. There you go. Don't show again. We're going to be good here. These are all the work details that are there, and they can encompass multiple little subtasks, and you can make your own work details. So let's say I make one over here. This is going to be specifically for people who are, I don't know, for some reason they do trapping, animal care, and carpentry, and also they butcher. Okay, so we're gonna have that, and we can name this detail to some sort of, like, I don't know, whatever, like a ranger of some kind. So we've just made our own custom little work detail here, and we can, so everyone does this by default. Like, this could be on, so all those tasks, this is available to everyone. Or I can say, listen, the only people who can do these subtasks are these guys over here. Now, they might still end up being able to do those tasks because of these other work details, right? But you can tune that way. And then for an individual dwarf, so for Ubid over here, or whoever, right? If I pull up on a dwarf, I can tell them each individual dwarf. So right now, all the dwarves do everything. But I can say, listen, you are now specialized. Erdim, you are specialized as a worker. This is your detail over here. Or rather, let's say Kosoth here. There, you're now specialized. You will no longer do just any and all jobs. The only jobs you will do are the jobs for the work details you've been assigned to. So Kosoth has been assigned to the ranger work detail. We could assign him to other work details as well. Again, there's two ways of doing it. We can either go to Kosoth and look at all of their all the work details and then assign them to a few. There we go. Or what I can do is, again, from the labor menu, if I look at a work detail, I can turn it on for individual dwarves from over here. I think this is really, really strong. I think this is a lot nicer. I'm still kind of learning this. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, especially when we get like a huge fortress with tons of dwarves. But for now, this is really excellent. The one complaint thus far that I've hit is I did not enjoy the trade interface. Unfortunately, I won't be able to show this right now, not until Trade Caravan comes up. But I wasn't pleased with it. Now, it might be a question of learning it, but it felt very inconvenient from my perspective. Admittedly, the classic Dwarf Fortress trade interface wasn't something I really loved either. DF Hack really made it a lot more tolerable by making it easy to filter things and to bulk designate things in certain categories. I know that the DF Hack people are working on becoming compatible with the Steam edition of Dwarf Fortress, but that's likely to take a while. But yeah, overall, I wasn't keen on that. Yeah, it'd be nice if I could force this to pop up over here to get a trade, but the Dwarven Trade Caravans come in the fall, and we're quite far away from that, so. There we go, can deconstruct the wagon. Oh, what I should do as well. I should set a hotkey. Let me do that. If I go and pull down over here, and click here, I can do a hotkey in this area. This was built into Dwarf Fortress, by the way. So F1 is on the surface, F2 is going to be over here, really convenient. There's also these built-in shortcuts. This sends you to the surface in this area, and this button here shows you the deepest area that you've gone, which in this case happens to be the level that I'm digging out. But of course, I might have dug down deeper into things, and that would just be a nice shortcut to that, which would be quite useful. Let me go and get a few things. I don't have all the new hotkeys memorized. Okay, stockpiles is still on P, so that's going to be okay. Do this, accept that size, and I'll say, listen, you just hold everything, please. And if I go into the build menu, workshops, let's quickly get a carpenter's workshop. So by default, it wants to select material after you place it. So I'll be like, tell you what, carpenter's workshop, let's make that out of wood because it makes sense. But then after that, for the others, I might be, you know what, I don't care about picking individual material. I'm just going to say use closest material. If I was planning on putting down multiple copies, this is especially useful for, say, like a bunch of beds or something like that. I could toggle this on so I could go click, 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 click. Although in this case, I'm happy to just put one down. And yeah, don't ask me about the material. I don't care. So what's another good one? Oh, Stoneworkers. So this, in classic Dwarf Fortress, this was called the Mason's Workshop. But they renamed it Stoneworker, which seems fine, actually, to me. It's maybe they decided it's going to be slightly more obvious to new players what that means. I don't know. I don't know why they changed it from Masonry to Stoneworker. I'm not complaining. I'm just like one of those things like, oh, I wonder what the thinking was. But there it is. Assigning tasks to workshops, exactly the same as Classic. If I click on the Stoneworker, add new task, I can get it to do whatever. Like, hey, you know what? We're going to need some rock doors. So, you know, we can get there, and I can put it to repeat. But it might be much more convenient for us to, in fact, set up a work order for this. Now, I don't currently have a manager, so I can't set up a work order at the shop. So we can go down to our noble screen and go down to manager, and Sarvesh over here is an adequate organizer, which is great. Early on, you don't need to set up an office for your managers. We will need those later. But for now, that means I can access my work orders. So either I can click on an individual workshop and set up a work order here for this shop specifically, or I can go through this menu. This was, again, this is a feature that's built into classic Dwarf Fortress. But the fact that there's a button and with the user interface, and actually, you don't even have to click on all these, but all of these here open up the same window, and then you get these tabs across the top. But yeah, so work orders, and that could be something like, you know, oh, you know what we need? We need some beds. So I'm going to make a job, make bed. We've got 7 dwarves right now, so go ahead and make 7 beds. And then while I'm on the screen, you know what would be really handy? If I automated brewing liquor for our dwarves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a job here, and I'm going to put in a conditional. So by default, your jobs are one-time order, but I'm going to say, listen, if we have fewer than, I don't know, if you have fewer than 100 units of alcohol, then start brewing drinks. I suppose make sure that you've got at least 10 fermentable plants and at least 10 empty food storage items for that to work, because, you know, that will only do it valid. But now, every day it's going to check to see if we have fewer than 100 drinks, and then start to do that. Well, we're only going to be able to do these if we have empty containers, so let's put in another conditional little job over here. And let's say wooden barrels for our booze. We'll put in a job over here. I'm going to change it so it just makes, let's say, every day it's going to try to make 1 barrel if we have fewer than 10. If we have fewer than 10 empty barrels, start making a barrel. Just one at a time. It's going to be okay. I guess make sure that you have at least 1 log. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change this to 1. So if we have fewer than 10 barrels and we have at least 1 log, then make 1 barrel. And check that every single day, which is the default. Excellent. So we get some little work automation. Again, that was in Dwarf Fortress Classic, but I find it potentially a lot more accessible here. Just, I think not so much like the mechanic of putting it, although it is quite convenient to just be able to mouse click on those plus buttons. A lot of the little default numbers have been tweaked to be a little bit more usable. Even like the default embark with your dwarves, I think is changed from the default one in Classic and just feels a little bit better. I don't know. Everything feels great. How come we're not making the Craftswork Workshop? Why are you suspended? Something might have gotten in the way. I could probably check over here. Animals grown. We struck coal. Oh, there was an item blocking the site, so some dwarf was probably like trying to move something at the same time as the building, but that's okay. Ooh, dog and mongoose are fighting. Get our first combat log. Still get tons of details in combat, because of course we do. Make wooden barrels job has been completed. I think there's an option in the menus. I don't remember where it is. Graven Start obscured. Cool. Yeah, there's a lot of options in here. There's an option somewhere in the game where you can fine-tune the alert levels and stuff like that and what shows up in the alerts. But I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head here. Anyway, that was it. Again, stay tuned on YouTube for tutorial-style videos. On Twitch, there's going to be a Let's Play. The Let's Play will make it to YouTube ASAP, which unfortunately I believe because of my exclusivity with Twitch, I do have to wait 24 hours before I put the VODs up on YouTube, if I recall correctly. So I won't be able to get you the VODs like immediately the same day, but I will try to make sure they get turned around super duper fast. So yeah, twitch.tv/Quill18 for some live play, YouTube for the VODs. Probably a standalone Let's Play on YouTube as well, but first I'm going to be looking to do tutorial-style videos. It will probably be a tutorial-style Let's Play is probably what we'll be doing on YouTube. But, yeah, I'm very hyped. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Like and subscribe.